in Cambridge, England, Inge Hunter is the CEO of video agency Clue Content. In 2023, Inge won Creative Entrepreneur of the Year at the Great British Entrepreneurial Awards. She is now part of a government scheme, Innovate UK, who have funded her to develop AI and ML technology for her business, a category where just 3% of all funding is awarded to women. You will also find her journey into entrepreneurship featured in the Metro UK and Daily Mail, as she started her first business, homeless, at 17 years old with a mobile cocktail making business. Ing joins me today to discuss the business of video content. Welcome, Ing, and thank you for joining me on Connections Radio today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Could you please start by telling us a little more about your entrepreneurial background and what led you to set up Clue Content?
Yeah, so you've covered like the top level. I set up Clue Content with the word clue because I don't think anyone's got a clue about content. So I thought, I'll call it Clue. But it's funny how sometimes you realize that everything that you've done previous turns into what you do now. So I have owned my own businesses since I was 17. I've never had a quote unquote proper job because I needed to start making money when I was homeless, which you've alluded to. I won't go into that, but the first way that I made money was selling cocktails on the street and outside nightclubs. I'd like be shaking up Manky Long Island iced teas, putting them in plastic milkshake cartons and selling them for £15.
Amazing.
Yeah. But over the years that grew into a mobile cocktail bar. The mobile cocktail bar grew into an events company. The events company ended up niching into wedding planning. But by this time, I already had people asking me how I was getting clients. And I did do business management and marketing at university. So I started to kind of consult people, help people in my industry about how to get clients. It was all through social media, mainly Instagram and Facebook at the time. And so that then grew and blossomed into sort of a full consultancy company, really. And there was one moment when I used to collect quite well-paying clients in my wedding planning company. And I had my second baby and I was in the hospital after a cesarean. This girl rang me up. She said, do you think I should have baby blue cushions or light blue cushions? And she was buying like 200 cushions, all new. And I thought, what the hell have I done? How have I gone from where I was to helping really rich people spend money? And that was my last ever wedding, because I realized that I felt really aligned and I've got a lot more joy from helping business owners like crack marketing and start making proper money in their companies. And so that was my last wedding, and I went full hog into consultancy. I've been in consultancy for 6 years, and so in January 2023, last year from recording this, I decided to set up my own content creation agency, because I have spent years telling people, do your content, 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 and getting frustrated with firstly people not doing it, but now genuinely with the landscape, it's a total barrier to entry. Being able to do it well and do it efficiently and do it consistently is totally off the radar for many businesses. And there wasn't an option for people to have high quality and high quantity alongside sort of small founder-led kind of small medium businesses. So I thought I'd set up Clue and find a way to be able to do that. And since January 2023, we're in March 2024, it's totally taken off. And that is a whistle stop tour.
That sounds fantastic. And what kind of clients does Clue Content tend to serve? It sounds like, you were telling people about their content. Are those people now your clients?
Yes. Yeah, it was easy to pick up clients at the beginning, because instead of telling people, I was like, do you know what, let me just do it for you. So we have sort of 3 options. So a lot of our clients that we started with are very founder-led personal brand type clients, and they might have a little team, maybe 1 or 2 people, but they're really passionate and ambitious people. And we have a group of people that sit in the middle that are more, they're hospitality companies, legal companies, accountancies, small firms, where there might be sort of 5 to 10 of them in the team, and we go to them and we record them in their offices. Again, the connection is that they're ambitious, they're up for it. They've identified that social media is where they're getting a lot of their traffic from, and we're starting to attract bigger more corporate brands. Being in Cambridge, there's a lot that are on my doorstep in the kind of biotech sphere who are interested in what we do because they find that they can't get that consistency out of video production companies, alongside good level of messaging. So we come in and sort of nail it for those multi-brand, bigger corporate companies. So we do have 3 client points, but they all conjoined by the fact that they just want to be ahead. They know that this is the way that the world's going, and they're interested in going with me, really.
Particularly video content, I think it's everywhere now since TikTok and all of these, and Instagram Reels and all of that. The landscape has really changed. Like when you talk about social media, it makes me laugh personally because I used to train people in social media. I used to write training manuals and
Oh
do
yeah.
coaching and stuff, but we're talking about 10 years ago. And do I know what
Yeah.
I'm doing now? Not really. Because it's just the
It's
landscape
changed
has
so
changed so
much.
much. It used to
Yeah.
always be, you used to be able to get quite a lot of reach organically. Is it now, do you need budget for social media engagement now, or can you still get organic reach through particularly video content?
So we only focus on organic, and it really still works, but you have to do it well. Uh, there's a stat that I came across, and I know this is kind of going off topic, but social media accounts for close to 5.9% of global greenhouse gases. And if you're putting out stuff because you feel like you should just put it out, it's, in my mind, it's the equivalent of littering. Like, it's not good. There's no
Mm.
point. It's not going to do anything for your company. It might damage your brand. So working on organic content still works. And actually, with the way that the ad industry is going, with it getting really, really harder, and the bigger companies sort of gatekeeping their data and analytics, uh, organics definitely, I think, the way to go. But it's much worth your time pouring a lot of energy into 3 posts than a little energy into 30 posts.
And
Um,
that's something that's been the case since I was doing this stuff. I always used to say to people, three, yeah, exactly what you just said, 3 good ones is better than 30.
yeah.
How consistent does one need to be if they're using video messaging, video content? And how consistent is it important?
Um, yeah. So ideally, if I was to give you an ideal, yeah, every day. But getting high quality video every day is quite unachievable for small business. So that's why I'm like 3 times a week, but not a video where it's, yeah, videos, you don't want it to be grainy, you don't want it to be fuzzy, you don't want it to be random, you don't want it to just jump on something trending because you think it's going to work. People have a perception of your brand based upon the quality of the video that you produce. So if you can, yeah, create 3 good ones, that's much better. But an ideal level of consistency is going to be 1 a day and a different message for each platform, which is what we focus
Mm.
on where we do it.
Okay. How did it feel to win the Creative Entrepreneur of the Year award last year, or in
I
2023?
didn't think I was going to win. So
Bless
I
you.
only started the company in January and then won that award in November. Um, and I hadn't even bought a ticket to the event. If my friend hadn't been like, "You should just go. You've been nominated,"
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone. And it was the first award that they announced of the event of the evening. And the guy that announced it didn't even bother to say my name. Like, it had been said well in the nominees are Inge Hunter. And then he said the award goes to Inge Hunter. I didn't even realize I'd
Oh,
won.
oh no. So you're thinking,
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
that?
Until my friend was
Oh,
like,
bless
"That's
you.
you."
And did you go up on stage and collect a nice shiny award? And was it like that?
Yes. I
Yeah,
went up
lovely.
on stage, held it above my head, twerked, because I thought, do you know what? If this is the only award I'm going to win, I want everyone in this room to know who I am. Be like, oh, you're that girl that danced.
You're the one that twerked. Love it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And what impact has winning this award had on your business?
It's been really good, actually, but only, I think, because I've put the effort in. So a lot of people will win awards and then they'll just place them in their office and that's it. But actually, what I've done is I've won the award. Oh, have you done that?
Yeah, I'm just looking at my awards
Yeah.
over there. For the listeners, I just shamefully had to look at my Janie Antoine Week Finalist Award for my mental health initiative, and a mental health thing I won in 2012, and I'm like, Yeah, what am I doing with that initiative now? Not a lot. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I just saw it in your face. I thought, oh, okay. Um, no, so I think just winning it and putting it on the shelf wouldn't have done anything. But what I did was I reached out to every single judge, even if it wasn't in my category, and said thank you. And I reached out to every single person that won an award and every single finalist that won an award, all on LinkedIn. Like, I'm happy to put the work in, and, you know, said, oh, it was great. You know, if they won a one, congratulations. If they're a finalist, like, well done for making the finalist stuff, you know, and it has significantly increased my reach and my connections, especially on LinkedIn. And it's enabled me to connect with loads of people. And now, what I think, because I put a little bit of effort in the back end, they've now, the people who own the awards have asked me to come and do speaking at their events. They've asked me to come and talk about it. You know, they're interested in being a client. I've picked up people who are, you know, oh, that's interesting. How does Clue work? So I think just solely winning the award wouldn't have done anything, but the impact of the outreach afterwards has done a lot.
That's very clever. I'm impressed. I
I'm
am
a
very
marketeer.
impressed. Yes, you are definitely a marketeer. What are the key elements of creating an impactful short video?
So you have to, obviously, there's all the obvious that people always say on social media. So you have to have a good hook, you have to have a good story, you have to have good impactful music. But the real key, I think, of creating a short video is have a person instead of a product on the video. Even if you're a product-based company, we are all apes and we like to look at people's faces, and, you know, there's lots of psychology that goes into that. You need to make sure that you're immediately speaking to a problem. So instead of thinking, what do I want to tell people, you need to think, what does that person want to hear? And you need to say it to them. This is where we work really well, because oftentimes when we own our own businesses, we create content by staring at our own screen that reflects our own face back at our face, and we talk to our face. So you end up in this kind of weird psychological loop of talking to yourself about what you want to say, and it doesn't end up being very impactful. Whereas if you have a production company that comes and sits you down, puts a camera in your face, but we make sure that our clients don't talk to the camera, they talk to their account manager who sat sideways from the camera and explains how they can solve that problem to that person, looking in that person's eyes. Suddenly that video becomes hugely more impactful, because it's spoken from a person to a person rather than a person to their own face with their own language, and it becomes really, really quick and impactful. And then obviously there's tactics beyond that. So once we've done that, we put it into editing, we make sure that the edits right, you have to think about the grading of it, making sure it's contrasted well, we make sure that the cuts are right for that person's brand, we make sure that the music starts straight away if there is music, make sure it's captioned so that people can be interested in it straight away, give it a title at the beginning. But generally, good video and successful ROI on video comes from videos that are between 30 seconds long, 30 to 60 seconds long. So you really have to do it, concentrate on making those good 3 videos rather than those crap 20.
You're listening to Connections Radio, The Sound of Business. I'm Louisa Wizzi Magnuson with Inge Hunter on the business of video content. We're going to take a quick musical interlude, tracks chosen by Inge, before we get back to business. Okay, I got 2 questions for you. Are you still recording and are you happy?
Yes.
Lovely. We'll go straight into the next half. You're listening to Connections Radio, The Sound of Business. I'm Louisa Wizzi Magnuson. This is the business of video content with Inge Hunter. Tell me about the AI and ML technology that Innovate UK have funded you to develop. You must be excited.
Yeah, I can't say much because there's lots of patterns and NDAs around it.
I wondered about that when I wrote the question.
Yeah. So it's coming for market release in October. So in October we can do it again and chat. But
Lovely.
yeah, I want people to be able to have a very tangible ROI from their content on social media. So at the moment, people will guess, and then you have people analyzing the results and giving you guesses again. I'm not creating AI generated assets, i.e. photos and stuff. The AI is the analysis of the data. So what's happening at the moment is you have an oligopoly of companies that own all of the social data. So you have Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, the top ones, and they own the data, and we pay to access the data. But they control where that goes, who that is available to, where that goes. But why not take that data and give it to the hands of the people that are running the companies and help them to be able to predict what will work well, not in their own company, but in their industry and against society across all of the different social media channels instead of just one, and then put that into the ideation of the content ideas. So my technology sits underneath the hood of what we do anyway, but we are selling it into bigger companies who already have great production of content. They just want to know what the fuck it's doing. And people want to be able to say, right, I want a 30, sorry, am I allowed to swear?
No, it doesn't matter. I can cut it out. Just say what we're doing, or what on earth we're doing.
What on earth they're doing. And they want to be able to say, I want to increase my website my website taps by 30%. What can I make to do that? At the moment, no one has an idea. Or you could pay a data analyst 200 grand salary a year to have a look for you. They'd probably look on one platform and they wouldn't know. So the technology that I'm creating, it's been picked up by Innovate because it is innovative. It's the first of its kind in the marketing industry. And it's going to be really, really interesting. And I'm hoping that it will be the future of the way that people come up with ideas and manipulate what they're doing on social media to benefit them.
It's a fantastic idea because, I mean, in such a noisy marketplace, I mean, I have clients and stuff that when they get to me, they're totally disenchanted with the whole of digital marketing. And this is impossible, because it is so noisy and it does change so rapidly. How can we keep up as business owners, as entrepreneurs? Do you recommend we outsource to a production company, to a social media company? How many little companies do we need to run a small business now? Can we still do it all ourselves? What are your tips?
I obviously I own a company that does it for people, so I'm going to say you have to have a company. But specifically a content creation house, which is a new type of company. So we're not social media managers and we're not video production companies. We are both together, because just creating video without video productions will create a great video, but probably one and not with a message. Social media managers might make a whole bunch of great graphics and they might ask you to send in video. They might try and come up with things. They might manage your platforms, but they're not going to have the quality that you need to actually compete anymore. So we blend the two together so that you only need to come to one company. I think there's 3 levels of company at the moment. There's people that are already using companies like ours and they are doing really well, and in the future they will be able to keep up. There are people who are using possibly social media managers, and in the next, let's say the next 1 year or 2 year, they probably will go to content creation houses, because social media managers are not also videographers, photographers, editors,
Yeah, not
graphic
traditionally.
designers. No, and we're putting pressure on them to do all of these roles that they're not qualified to do. They'll give it a good go because they always do, but we're going to social media managers should just be managing the social media platforms,
Yeah,
not
they should
creating
be having the
content.
content sent to them, and they should
Yes.
be devising which bit goes on which platform, perhaps, the actual engagement and publishing side of it. Because they're social
Yeah.
media managers are really, they should be called publishers, really, shouldn't they? Because they're the ones
Yes.
that, but that's a key difference, I think, in sort of content creation and social media management, that I think a lot of people don't really understand the distinction between the two, because there's there are fuzzy lines between these roles, aren't there? Between content creators, social media managers, and writers. And some people are jacks of all trades and masters of some, and some people like to think they are. And so I think I agree with what you're saying, and I think it is important to make sure you do go to somebody who's good at exactly what you need. But how can people work out exactly what they need? Is video really the king now? Should we all be doing video? Sorry,
Oh,
lots of
video is
questions in one.
okay. So video is definitely the king, and I like to think about our businesses as restaurants. So you're not going to have a chef and a waiter doing the same thing. A social media manager is the waiter, the content creator is the chef. So if you
Mm.
want to go to or maybe a pop-up food van, they are going to be waiting on you and making the food. But if you want to if you think about it like that, that might help you make that decision. You know, do you have the ability to make Michelin star food and show off your company in the right way? If not, then you need a content creation house or a content creator. Are you able to waiter it all to all of your clients? If not, then you need a social media manager. And I like to look at different industries to understand it, because it is new and it's moving quickly. And this industry didn't exist 10 years ago. So to be able to kind of reference it in other ways, I think helps.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that analogy. You could further that analogy and say, you know, if you got, have you got the budget for a restaurant that's Michelin star or a food truck where
Mm,
the waiting is going to be serving your chips in a plastic dish? You know, do you want your chips served in a plastic dish or do you want it on a really snazzy plate? And what's your
yeah,
budget?
yeah.
Because I think that's an important thing to consider. How expensive is it to outsource content creation for businesses? Is it on a scale? How do you price yourself?
So we like to say that we're the equivalent of one person's salary. So I know that there's a lot of business owners there who can't afford one person's salary. And so we have a lot of resources and a lot of training and things that will help people just get better to a point at which they're making enough money in their company and then they can get one person's salary. And we have different price points. So the lowest price point is where you share the production with a group, so maybe 3 other companies, and that's more for personal brands, founder-led companies. They come to Cambridge. It's great, they get the same service. It's just like a hen party where you share the
That
cost.
sounds great because that also encourages collaboration, you know, cross-business collaboration, which is very useful, particularly for small businesses. You know, I think small business
Mm.
owners are often they're trying to do everything themselves and they're looking at all the people doing the same similar things as competitors. But if you look at them as potential collaborators and where can you help this one and they help you, I think that's a better way of doing business, particularly in the beginning. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. And to be honest, you know, then the next price level up is our normal service where we go to the client's place of work. But actually, the people that are in the group service love it so much. It's such a great atmosphere, and they all end up working together because they're together for 2 days of filming, and they really do foster really good connections. It's important.
Mm. What advice would you give other video creators about making a business out of this kind of work?
Um, so we employ a lot of videographers who are videographers in their own right. They are, you know, well, they're freelance, so they have their own companies, and we bring them in. Um, I before I set up this company, I was consulting with lots of different videographers who have their own companies, and I was saying, why aren't you doing content? Like, why aren't you making high quantity of stuff? Because you can, and people need it. And all of them were saying, no, 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 it's too much work. It's too much work. Now, if I had known all the intricacies of video before I set up the company, I definitely would have also turned around and said, no, it's too much work, you know, and I've got to get through 18 terabyte hard drives every other month. Like, it is an insane amount of work that goes underneath it. But I think it's the way that if there's demand there, go for it. I think you can collaborate up with different videographers, video creators, and set up like a syndicate of work so that you can all be working on different things all together. And just approaching companies. So instead of companies saying to you, right, we want one video for our website, say, okay, cool, you know, I'll do that, but why don't I capture a load of stuff and make 8 little videos for you? They can spread those 8 videos out over 4 weeks, maybe, and you're giving them much better value on just one website video.
And as you said earlier, it's the 30-second to 60-second videos that really get the ROI, don't they?
Yeah,
So if you're looking at, because I think trying to get your entire company into a 30-minute video, you know, your entire messaging, your vision, your mission, your elevator pitch. I mean, maybe the elevator pitch, yeah, but it makes more sense to do lots of little ones and then you can put them in different places rather than one big boring video that nobody's actually going to watch all the way to the end. Because another thing
yeah.
to consider, I think, is our attention spans because of social media, because of technology. We don't have the attention anymore, do we, to watch a 10-minute introductory video on a company we might engage with. So, yeah.
No.
Inge Hunter, thank you for joining me on the business of video content. Where can we follow you online and get in touch for more information and Clue content services?
So Clue content everywhere. We're clue.content, clue content. But then I also have my own stuff, which is just Inge Hunter online everywhere. So Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, not so much Facebook. I
Yeah.
don't really like Facebook so much, but yeah, the website as well, www.cluecontent.com, or www.ingehunter.co.uk.
Fantastic. Congratulations again on your award. And thank you for joining me today. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, how was that?
Yeah, good. Was I right for you?
Yeah, you were lovely. That was really nice. Sorry if I talked a bit too much.